Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, the birth of another pair of mushroom siblings sparked quite a bit of excitement in our tribe, especially once Portabella realized that she could sense the presence of two of her ancestors in them both. They look almost exactly like our little toadstool and truffle too from the previous island, so clearly they were not quite done with us yet, and you guys seem to agree that we should probably name them in their honor. So I think that's exactly what Portabella is going to do. This little baby is going to be Toadstool the Second, and then we'll have Truffle the Second as well. These two were kind of like pioneers of the old island. They found quite a few new and exciting places for their tribe to call home. Truffle was the one who discovered the safe haven in the jungle, right alongside Needle, and then Toadstool was known for finding little safe areas of his own, right underneath all these trees we could pick up as acorns. So it's quite fitting too that Toadstool the Second was born with those two nimble fingers. He'll be picking up quite a bit of food for our tribe. He'll make sure everybody is all nice and fed while his brother likely goes out and tries to find more resources on different islands. I think that's exactly what Bella is hoping for these two. She knows her uncle's stories very well, so she has a lot of high hopes for these two babies. And likewise, Ronuta has a lot of hopes for his children too. Lasi, of course, who's still following her trail of shells, exploring the mainland every now and then too, but then Kiroku, who is feeling a little bit embarrassed right now. He did try to snatch up a mole when he had the chance, when it was poking out of its burrow, but he found that he wasn't quite strong enough to take it down himself. And it was right in front of his father too, so he's feeling very, very embarrassed right now, a little bit inadequate, and I think he's going to want to try to find a way to prove himself as well. Just like Ruby over here, who wants to make sure she's guardian material, Kiroku wants to find his own path in the world, and it might just start with all of these trees. He does remember that giant jungle tree that his family took refuge under, and he misses it very, very dearly. Poor little Kiroku only wants to find his swamplands and his jungles again. He is not the biggest fan of all of the sand and ocean. It's definitely not his idea of adventure. So on the next turn, we'll have him start his search, but for now, I think everybody is all tired out. So we'll have to see what our next warrior baby is going to look like. Rokirinu is actually getting super old, so this is going to be one of his final babies. And I did want to take a look at his mutation menu. Since we're getting to the end of his family line, we might as well place one of the claws into his other slot. That way we'll be a little bit more likely to get the warrior babies that we're looking for. Of course, the Dart is quite strong. She's hidden back here in the shadows, which is fitting for her. I have a feeling she's going to be doing a lot of sneaking around in the dark patches. Maybe she would even want to follow Kiroku. Maybe she would sense his very stern, driven nature and want to follow him to see if she can better herself as well. She's still very small though, so it would surprise me if a little baby knew what she wanted out of life already, but something is definitely pulling her in that direction. And then meanwhile, her newest little brother looks like quite the warrior, doesn't he? Oh my goodness, he has those dark red spots. He almost reminds me of maybe a little leopard or something, but either way, I mean the dark red spots and the big claw and the poison fangs, he looks like he is ready to march straight into war. So unfortunately, he doesn't have the ram horns. I guess our goddess of war is not too impressed with this family just yet, but she must be coming around because we did manage to get that claw after all. So he's going to be quite strong. He'll be able to at least help protect us with the rest of his family members if we do have any Berryina situations in our future. And of course, because Halloween is just around the corner, I actually wanted to name some of our babies today in celebration. New. Very creative, Ruby. Very creative. But we're going to name this little baby Dracula. I feel like that's particularly fitting thanks to all of those dark red spots, the poison fangs too. He looks like he could be a little vampire to me. Perhaps that means he'll want to follow his sister's ways and stay in the darkness if he can to avoid catching too much sun. But now that Dart has her second gem, she should be able to scoot up a little bit closer to Kiroku to at least see where he's going. I don't think he's noticed her just yet because he has a little bit too much on his mind right now. He's much more focused on trying to make a pathway over to this tree. Ronuta has enough energy that he should be able to come over here as well, maybe pick up some of the acorns and clear out some of the grass. He is getting older though, so he's starting to worry a little bit about whether or not Lasi is going to return in time, whether or not he'll be able to pass on those bluebird feathers like he always intended to. Somebody needs to take them after all, because we don't want Adam's quest to die off with this generation. We still have so many islands to explore, so much ground to cover before we even come close to getting to his old home. Well, Camo, why don't you at least come down here to pick up some more of these shells for your mate? And maybe you two could even have another baby as well. I'm pretty sure we set up their mutation menus last time, right? Well, Portabella doesn't have anything in hers, but Camo has the big nose in his. So maybe we should do the same thing and make sure the ram horns are in one of her slots, though that would potentially make it harder for them to pass along those antlers. I think that's why I kept the ram horns out of her mutation menu, because I was hoping they would pick up the antlers instead. But I suppose strength is a little bit more important right now, as we're making sure that our tribes are going to be ready for all of the more difficult islands to come. So we'll place the ram horns into one of her slots, and hopefully in the future, once we get to some more colder climates, we'll be able to unlock the antlers instead, just to give our tribe a little bit more diversity. So Camo, go ahead and breed with Bella, and then we'll have to move your little babies out of the nest. We probably don't want them getting too close to the shore, because that would risk them attracting the attention of leeches. So we'll make sure they stay on the mainland while they're still so small. Bella is not going to let them out of her sight after all. She has such high hopes for these two, she doesn't want to see them getting hurt. Now, Rokirinu, on your very, very last day, let's try to have just one more baby with you. I mean, unfortunately, we still have not managed to pass along that stinky tail that they're both carrying in their inactive traits. I really want to see at least one baby born with that, because it would really, really help us out when it comes to the swamp island that we're going to next. So Ruby, if you wouldn't mind, scoot on over here to breed with Rokirinu again, and then as you pick your berries for all of your children, we'll just cross our fingers that this one is a little bit more lucky. I guess we don't really have like a stinky-tailed deity for us to impress, do we? The closest one would be Sage from the Harmony Islands. He did quite a bit of important things around the swamplands, but I don't think he really ascended to a god status. Oh, maybe Comet. I think Comet may have had a stinky tail actually, and that's super, super fitting because he did live in the jungle. So maybe we'll have to get on his good side again, just like we did on our previous island when he gave us that lovely little safe haven full of healing fruits and nests. It was the perfect place for us to start our new families. I wonder if there might be a deeper reason for that. Since Comet is the god of sacrifice, maybe he gave us that place because he wishes he could have started a little family of his own. His mission was to protect his brother, protect his tribe mates, but that left him without the time to settle down himself. So maybe in times of hardship, he's the one who gives us all of these little tiny gifts that we need to help us survive. But I think that might be the last of our turns. We need Portabella to stay right in her nest after all, so let's go ahead and skip the day and say goodbye to Rokirinu as well, who has helped us so much with our families, even though we haven't been able to get our hands on that stinky tail. And yet again, it looks like we won't be pulling it out in this generation, but at least it's still in our genetics. Just like her brother, however, she does have the claw, so she's still going to be super helpful for our guardian line, and I think I will give her a little Halloween name as well. We'll name this sweet little baby Pumpkin. So our spooky Halloween siblings are sure to get into quite a bit of mischief on their own. We have a few more turns to go though, because little Dracula only has one gem. I suppose we could have Ruby at least clean up all of these nests, because we won't exactly be needing them any longer. Her new mission is going to be training her children, making sure they're ready to take her place and keep the tribe safe. And feed the tribe too, because her original mission was just to find some fish. So now she has plenty of children who will be able to scoop up all of those little morsels in the ocean. And even though Scout is not one of them, he does strike me as a very, very adventurous and curious little soul. So maybe he would go to the water side just to peer in himself, just to see if he can find anything interesting in the deepest parts. And in the process, he might see all of these creatures way over on this island, trying to find food of their own, picking their berries and hunting bunnies. Our hunting duo is going to have to go a little bit deeper, it seems, to really find those pesky bunnies. They have moved on since we've taken over a lot of the berry bushes, but we might still be able to surround them if we're lucky, or even push them right off onto the beach again so we can pin them by the water. On the same note though, it looks like they did find one of those permanent nests, so maybe we'll have Vanta go ahead and clear that out just so we don't lose track of it. That means they'll lose a little bit of energy when it comes to chasing the bunny, but at least we can continue our hunting line if we find the right partners for them. I'm a little bit leery to send Lasi after it because I think she's just really going to scare it away. She can't pounce on the bunny from here and she only has 2 turns left, so let's have her use it to clear out some of the grass, and that should make the bunny think that we're not paying attention too. It seems like the bunny is going to have a massive feast on this turn. But maybe if it's super full, it'll be sluggish too, so our creatures can track it down easily. Now the mushrooms have also had another baby, and it looks like our toadstool and truffle have grown up as well, so we'll have to give them the pink gems that their family is so well known for. That way they'll be ready to go out exploring just like the ancestors they were named for. But at least this little baby managed to inherit the ramhorn crown. I guess Animeme was smiling down on your little family. But I think I'm going to name this baby Spore, a perfect little nod to his mushroom lineage. So we'll have to see if he's more interested in adventuring with his brothers, or if maybe he's a little bit more quiet like his father is. Maybe he would prefer to stick around the mainland, right around the main camp, and make sure that everything is well maintained. We might actually have to enlist the help of a Truffle II to pick up some of these berries, and then we have some more down here that you might be able to help Ruby's family with too. With so many children to watch out for, she could probably use an extra set of nimble fingers to keep everyone fed, of course. And Dart has already made her way deep into the grass over here, watching where Kiroku is going. Oh, look at that! You found a little nest as well! How perfect is that? So it's not quite the same as your little jungle safe haven, the place that you were born in and that you miss so dearly, but it's coming very, very close now. So maybe he's starting to feel a little bit more at home. It helps that he doesn't have to look at the ocean everywhere he turns anymore. He's kind of buried himself in the grass a bit. So I think the sand and the waves are far enough away that it's not making him super nervous. Meanwhile, little Lasi, you have gotten so very far away from your tribe. Maybe you should sniff around a little bit just to make sure that nothing dangerous is in the area. She's kind of lost sight of her little shell trail too. It seems like the Bandit brothers or the Balance sisters, whichever one she thought was leading her on, has kind of abandoned her way off on the other side of the island. So she's been left to find her own purpose out here. We'll have to see if she finds anything special once we skip the day, because I think we're almost just about out of turns. We just have you, Camo, who could possibly look in some of this darkness. Oh, you could pick up some mole meat for us. Excellent. You can use those big ram horns to your advantage. We'll move Portabella out of the nest just so her baby has room to grow, but otherwise I think we're all out of turns, and look at this! The bunny is feeling a little bit sluggish after eating all of that food, so we might be able to track it down after all. Let's go ahead and skip the day. It's raining again, so we have even more food to collect on this turn now, and so many bunnies, oh my goodness! Well, first things first, we have to grab this bunny. That means that one's going to scoot away, but at least we managed to get one. We'll go ahead and pick up that meat, and who has a leech now? Oh no, don't tell me. Don't tell me it's you, Lasi. That is not good for you because you did not go out here with a buddy. So that means she's going to have to try to track somebody down who could possibly help her. I guess she'll want to go straight into the mainland, stumble away from the ocean that has betrayed her in this way, and hopefully call for some help. On the plus side, it looks like she may have stumbled into somebody's tiny little camp, right next to one of these rocks, perhaps to protect them from predators, anything lurking right along the shoreline. There's only bunnies out here right now though, so whoever it is may have moved on. It's unfortunate because it's very, very unlikely that our creatures, being so far away, would be able to hear Lasi from the other side of the island, but maybe Camo and Portabella, as they leave their newest little baby Spore in the hands of his much older siblings, will have him toddle over here so he's right next to his big brother Truffle, and their parents can go searching for more nesting material maybe. Camo always did love to collect those curly vines in the jungle, and now his curiosity may just be enough to save Lasi, if we can get around all of these rocks of course, because as they near, they might at least be able to sense her presence. And I know Portabella has missed Lasi quite a bit. They were very, very good friends, traveling along the beach together, picking leeches off of each other whenever they needed to. But Lasi needed to continue her journey to find her purpose. And something tells me this is going to be a very good lesson for our stripy little potential leader. Maybe this will be just the sort of thing that she needs to realize that she can't exactly go this alone. A tribe needs to stick together if it's going to survive. And in the end, that's exactly what Adam was hoping to teach. So while Kiroku continues to make his little home right by his tree, picking all the berries and picking up all the grass too, and Dart of course skitters around the backside of the tree to keep herself concealed, we'll have Ronuta start wandering off into the grass to try to track down his daughter. His time is running very short, so if he wasn't worried before, he is definitely worried now. Oh my goodness. But Lasi has found a little bit of comfort in the bunnies, it seems. They're coming over to snuggle up to this poor little thing who's all soaking wet from the rain, covered in leeches. That is absolutely adorable, so at least she has some sort of friends out there. Now you guys, you have to get to work collecting all of this food. Good thing we have so many nimble fingers because we don't want all of this going to waste. We don't want those bunnies getting their pesky little hands on it first. Maybe we can find the other bunny who hopped off down the shore? No, looks like it may have gotten away from us, but that's okay, because Scout has some interesting food sources in mind already. He has noticed, as he's watched all of these creatures from across the waves, that there are some very interesting, tasty little morsels right on the seafloor. They work a little bit like the roots that we can dig up on the mainland, but these we would need a beak to pick up without any hassle. So Scout might not be able to pick them up right away, but he can still give it his best and attempt to impress Lucilla, of course, who probably finds it very, very silly that he's sticking his head in the water. I'd imagine kind of like a goose or a duck trying to snatch up food from a lake. So she can watch the show and pick her berries, so she'll at least have plenty of food to offer him once he does make it across the waves. And then you, Vanta. Since we don't, oh wait a second, we do actually have one of the bunnies down here. So maybe you want to clear out some of the grass so you'll be able to move a bit more freely. That way, hopefully on the next turn, you and your sister can finally hunt down that second bunny. And now that our guardians have finished clearing out their homes as well, I think we are ready to skip the turn and pass over to the next day, which means that Lasi should be taking a little bit of damage from that nasty leech, but you still have your little bunny friend right under your feet. Oh, I can't possibly get rid of him. I can't possibly kill him with Lasi, so I think we're just going to pick the berries and then let that bunny live. He has clearly become your friend, so it would just be cruel any other way. But you are in luck because now that the storm is over, it should be much easier for our creatures to find you off in the grass. There's no rain to wash away your scent. Portabella can scoot right up next to you and scare away your friend, unfortunately. She isn't quite as familiar with the bunnies, but we will be able to pull the leech off of your neck and then lick your wounds too, to make sure that you won't take any damage on the upcoming days, because it seems like she didn't actually take damage that night. She was bitten by the leech, but it didn't truly take away any of her lifespan. So I guess the gods and the goddesses are smiling down on you, especially now that you've learned the strength that a tribe can hold. They're willing to show a little bit of mercy on you. So as she stumbles closer to the mainland and finds some moles too, but she's feeling a little bit too weak to attack it, so she'll have to settle for her berries as Camo helps by at least unburying some of our creatures, so we don't have quite as much grass around the area. and that'll give Ronuta the perfect opportunity to come up to his daughter, make sure she's okay, and let his mind be soothed as well, because she can tell him about all of the lessons that she's learned. As strong as the temptation was to dive headfirst into adventure, to chase all of her dreams down these shores until she finally found a little home for her own, she knows now that she needs her tribe mates, her friends, and her family right by her side to ensure their survival, and that Adam's stories are going to live on after all. So she is finally ready to take on those bluebird feathers and hopefully truly lead the tribe onward toward their next home. We have so many places to explore way off in the ocean, but this time she's not going to leave anybody behind. So although her mission may have been a little bit in vain, at least she's learned a tiny bit more about what it means to be a leader. So in the next episode, we'll see if she can't round up the tribe to do some swimming. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!